we have Tommy Davidson. And Tommy, I have to tell you, like every Sunday night, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, our family would get together when I was 12, 13, 14, and we would sit down and watch in living color. And I couldn't wait to go to school every Monday and tell all my friends about the newest skits, the things I can't believe they're doing on TV, this really talented cast with Tommy Davidson, Jim Carrey, all the Wayans, J-Lo as a fly girl. But dude, this is like, I'm so excited to have you on because like that was my middle school and going into high school. And I've never seen anything like that on television before. And I haven't really seen anything like it since. What was your, and I know you've done a million things since then, but what was your time like there with that talented crew?
It was just the most wonderful thing that happened to any of us. You know, we were like the X-Men. You know, everybody that was a comedian on there or a sketch artist on there, we knew each other as the best. But we were all out there trying to get work in movies and stuff like that. We never thought we'd ever be on the same show. They didn't tell us who the cast was. So when we walked in the room, when he picked who was who, I said, Jim, you're on the show. Oh my God, David, this show is going to be, he took the best of the best.
Yeah.
You know, and put us in the danger room, and we got down like that. And I wish that I was 14, 15, and I could have seen the show.
It's incredible.
Man, there was so much going on that thing, man, that you went to school like, rah! You know, everybody was together. That's the best thing. It was like the first time in the history of TV that blacks, whites, Hispanics all got to laugh at the same thing at the same time and not have to cover their mouth.
Yep. Yeah. No, I love that. Absolutely. Do you think that like a lot of the swagger and the confidence of a show like that, it's palpable because all the performers were insanely comfortable with one another. But do you think that goes to a casting decision with like bringing in the talented casting, or does it lean more towards, oh, these are just organic, normal, natural performers, and we just make this cohesive team like 97 Bulls?
It came down to Keenen was the one that brought in the system. So Keenen knew that each one of us did different things. He knew that I did impressions great. He knew that I was a good straight man. He knew that I was physical like Jim, you know. He knew that could be anything. He knew that David could handle all kind of dialogue. You know, he knew that Kelly was crazy as hell. You know what I mean? And she would go do anything. You know, and Kim was another one that can just hold it down. So he knew us, and he let us loose. But what he did was he kept us very technically sound. Like, we knew our lines. We knew our stuff great. We rehearsed like you don't know what. We shot all day and all night, okay? And he knew what our strengths were, but he knew our strength was really what was going on inside of us. So he would give us our own take. Okay. So he'd go, this one's ours, Fox's, right? And he said, the second one is always you guys's.
Okay.
And he never should have told us that, because that was the show. That was the show. That's like when you go to detention in high school and the teacher says, if he says, the first person that opens their mouth, they're getting out of here and they're getting detention again, that you're gonna laugh.
Yeah.
That's when it starts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of all the people in the world, by the time we were in the second season, he was coming in the room, slamming the door, getting us all in there and going, we're going to get canceled. We're going to get canceled. You guys got it. You can't do that stuff. You guys, we're not going to be on the air. And he'd leave. And we go, and we do it again. So, and so that's what made the show.
Yeah.
And you know, and TV has changed. Like, I'm a radio morning show host. Bo is an actor. And so that's kind of our background. But, you know, y'all were drawing huge, massive numbers that any show would kill to have now. But how has TV and Bo? We're talking about this a little bit off the
Yeah.
air, but how has things changed? How has comedy changed over the years? Because you're a prolific stand-up comedian and actor and voice actor, and singer.
Well, the way it's changed, the way it's changed for me. Hold on, I got you. The way it's changed for me is, we'd show up to the stage and work our butts off, and the way it's now, get on your phone. Just get on your phone.
It cut out there, Tommy. I'm sorry.
Difference.
Can you repeat the last?
We'd have to go in, rehearse, take the bus or whatever we had to do to get there, get our lines, get with the other actors, work it out, come up with new ideas, talk to the cameraman. You remember yesterday? Or blah, 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 talk to the writers. Hey, man, you got to change this for me, blah, 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 blah. And right now, all you got to do is get on the phone.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Just get on the phone.
Yeah. So now you're going to be at the Greensboro Comedy Zone.
Just get on the phone.
Get that in there now. Greensboro Comedy Zone this Thursday through Sunday. And I saw one of your bits you did. I'm not saying it's something you do now, but you had a funny take on how white people do the national anthem as opposed to black people.
How's
Can you get a little into that a little bit?
Yeah, it's just really simple. The white guys, really enunciate and make sure you got the message clear. And now for your national anthem. Jose, can you see by the dawn's, never knew it was S in that. Early light, never knew it was a T in that. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Brother get a hold of it at a junior high wrestling match. and wants to make all right, so it's an audience of what? 4? And he wants to make an album. Hey, this little something I call an anthem. My real name is Antonio in them. Yeah. Hey, thank you.
Don't die, Jared. Don't die.
Oh, that's great stuff.
Oh, you're looking. Do you got 20/20 vision? So it's the whole.
keeps going.
It's a whole different approach.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you're an accomplished singer. You have albums you've released. Now I saw on your IMDb that you might be doing. Are you in the works to do a Sammy Davis Jr. biopic or playing Sammy Davis Jr. in a movie? Because you used to do that on Living Color, right?
I am. Yeah, I am, and it's actually becoming a reality more and more every day. It's taken 24 years, but it's on the way. It's on the way. Any performer, actor, you can tell us too. You know that we don't know exactly what's going to happen. We know what we want to happen.
Yeah.
And when things are put in front of you, and we got this, and we got that, and this is the deal, and this is that. If you can't deal with ambiguity, this is not the business for you, man.
Yeah, you almost never get a straight answer in anything in the industry. It's like to get someone to lock down and say yes. Now you'll start putting pieces together that makes it seem like we're going the right direction, but then it's like at the same time, no one. Like you said, everyone's ambiguous. They don't really want to say or pigeon for themselves. But that's amazing, and people also don't understand, Tommy, how long things take to make a movie. Like from origin concept to writing it to, and then getting all the pieces attached, and then studio head change, and all these unpredictable things. People don't get it, and so to hear that about your story and being Sammy Davis Jr., that's amazing. Kudos to you for sticking with that, because I think you do an amazing job.
Yeah, and you can't blame anybody because the success is contingent on others.
Yes,
so it's like. You just it's like lobster fishing. You don't know what you're gonna get. You got to get out there. You can throw the cage down and be like, oh man, and pull it up and be like, you got to get a new cage. You know what I mean? It's like, maybe there's a hole in it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even in the middle of Alaska, going, the cage's empty. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. But it really goes. It really for me. I'm very pedestrian, very work. I'm very work oriented. I mean, this is a great job.
Yeah.
This is a great job. Going from IHOP busing tables to go to this as a job is a big deal. But looking
Sure.
at it as a job keeps me in perspective, because that's really what it is, you know? And if you got a job and a job that you love, then that's a bonus. But if you got a job, that's the end all.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's about family, that's about our education, that's about our communities, that's about our country, that's about our world. And
Right.
I never forget that let's say a black trash man in Washington D.C. has the same thing in common than white coal miner in West Virginia.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or an executive in New York City has this has the same stake
Yeah.
as a nurse
Right.
in your
Well,
municipal hospital. You
yeah,
know?
it feels like what you're saying is like you said perspective is everything. I mean, Tony Robbins says a change in your life is a change in your perspective, right? So it's just how you're looking at things that will
Hmm.
determine not only your peace and your happiness, but like your longevity and not getting burnt out or not getting burnt out. Because particularly, Tommy, as you know, in this industry, I
Right.
know it's nothing but constant rejection until the one is a yes, and that one yes makes up for all the rejection. And you can only remember the other stuff. But that's kind of that
Mhm.
high peak valley lifestyle that a lot of people don't think they can really live and do that. I think, and so for
Hmm.
see someone who's had such a long career like yourself, who's done so many different things. Also, the thing was maybe Al Pacino said that everyone can act, but the secret's not in acting. Everything is based upon if you can make a career out of it. So it's not just
Yeah.
anyone can do it, but it's anyone can do it one time, but it's doing it for a long period of time. And you've done it for a very extended long period of time, work some of the best
Yeah,
people in the
it's been
industry.
35 years. It's been
Yeah.
35 years. And there's just I just have learned along the way, man, that there's just so much value in merit, man. You
Yeah.
know, and what you become and the why to it, you know? Like my I had a substitute teacher named Miss Coleman, man, and I could not do multiplication for nothing, you know? And here's this old Jewish woman, and she said, "You can come by the house." You know, and I go by the house every day after school, and she would go through it and 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 go, and I still didn't get it, but but uh, there she was, you know. And when TV and movies happen and this, that, and the other thing, you know, I knock on Miss Coleman's door, you know, and she said, "Come on in." You know, I remember we were going through the stuff. You
Right.
know, she said that was the first step to everything. Is
Right.
solving problems.
That's it.
That was her thing. If you can solve problems, then you're okay.
High level problem solving. Yeah. Yeah. Very
Well,
Yeah.
high
and
stakes,
yeah,
relatively speaking, high stakes. I mean, it's all relative. I think actors and people in the industry get a bad rap because they do compare themselves to real war vets who've fought in battle, or
Hmm.
real
Hmm.
doctors on the
Hmm.
battlefield, or
Right,
a
right,
brain
right,
surgeon or whatever. It's like,
right.
no, man, it's perspective, because again, what we're doing,
Hmm.
we're just pretending. Let's not be so self-precious about it. That's my own
Yep.
personal take.
Yeah.
Because it's people take themselves, I think, too seriously. And again, I think
Hmm.
comedians like yourself, that's actually what's giving voice to a lot of people who maybe before wouldn't dare say or do, or whatever the case might be, something because they thought that it was prohibited. But it seems like the culture shifting to push culture back, and the comedians are the tip of that spear. And it's
Hmm.
it's funny how things have shifted. It didn't used to be like this, but now it's like they're the tip of the spear more than necessarily even movie stars. It's comedians, because they can
Hmm.
say the truth in a joking way and get you to laugh and let down your guard. And that's insanely valuable in this culture, I feel like. I mean, particularly now.
Hey, man, it's the reason why we are who we are. You
Yeah.
know, Lucy and Desi and Andy Griffith and Get Smart and Green Acres, Friends, and all of those things are that balance us out, and we don't have this hardcore thing
Mm.
against difference.
Yeah.
I mean, this country went through a depression. Like, people were drinking soup, man. That was all they had, you know. And you look years and years later, their endurance still lives in us.
Sure.
In other words, we made it through it, and here we
Right.
are. You know, so to take for granted that here's a black person, here's a Latin person, we're all Americans, and say, hey, but we're different. We're not looking at Omaha Beach
That's right.
in the right
Right.
perspective.
That's
Because
right. That's a great point.
this session would be in Japanese and German, bro.
Yeah.
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 You're right. Now, Tommy, did I read this correctly? Because it seems like your life is a miracle to begin with. Did I read correctly when you were born? And correct me if I'm wrong. Were you left in like a dumpster as a baby, or you were adopted at a very young age? Did I read that correctly?
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, it was actually a pile of trash that was on the side of an abandoned house. And my mom, who raised me, went there looking for my real mom because she was there a year before that, working on immunizing children and doing voting drives during the civil rights movement.
Wow.
So she goes to look for this woman, this baby actually, because they said she left with her other 4 kids. She went to Milwaukee, but she left her baby over at such and such's house. And when she got there, it was abandoned and there was kids doing drugs and drinking. So she got out of there fast. But she said she walked out the door and there was a pile of trash and something told her to lift the tire up. And when she lifted the tire up, she saw my foot.
God.
And it went from there. You know, I was unconscious, starved, had contusions in my skull, in a coma. They didn't think they thought I was dead, wasn't gonna live. Her and my dad stayed there for like 30, 40 days at the hospital I lived, you know.
Wow.
And I'm ended up going and growing up in Fort Collins, Colorado, and Wyoming, and Laramie, Wyoming, you know, with farms and rivers and animals and, you know, and then moved to Washington, D.C. and realized, hey, wait a minute, we're different color.
Wait a second.
It's different here. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a shock for me because I didn't know that we were hated for that.
Yeah.
So when the black kids beat my brother and my sister up every day, and they were calling them white cracker, and they were calling me a white cracker lover, I was confused. So I went home because we moved into Washington, D.C., all black city during the damn riots
Yeah.
when King got shot. So everybody was mad. And I went to my mom and I was like, why are they calling me? I had a case I had a complaint. Why are they calling me a white cracker lover when I like graham crackers, man?
Just so naive. You're like, well, what are you talking about?
Yeah. How do you think that informed who you are as a performer? Because I mean, you are again, I don't mean to fanboy. It's probably more exciting to have a fangirl, but a fanboying about Living Color. But all the different characters in movies and stuff too. I mean, and then voiceover with Disney Plus and all that. But how do you think your very unique childhood informed who you are as an entertainer and a performer? That has to have some effect because you're very unique.
Because I was really a cool little love child before I knew that. You know, before I knew that a person this color couldn't like a person that color because of the color. Because I thought we were like animals. See, I grew up on farms. Me and my sister couldn't wait for a litter. A dog or a cat to have kittens or puppies or whatever, a horse to have a colt. We couldn't wait because we loved those little things, those little creatures. And color really had nothing to do with it. It could be a black cat and have 2 white ones, a gray one, a brown one.
Right.
You know, a horse could be a black horse and have like a tan horse. You know, so I thought that we were like that. I thought whatever I was a brown one. You see?
Yeah.
So when I found out that wasn't true, my whole world crashed. But I remember that if you take one of those puppies too far, the cat will come after you, or the dog will come after you.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter what color it was; it just mattered that was its kitten.
Right.
And that was his puppy. And I never forgot that. I said, so I said, I'm going to keep that in me
Yeah.
with the dogs and cats and how they
Well,
are. And I
because I
think
think
that
I think that's
survived.
yeah, and well, that's much more likely to be the truth than what we've been forced to
Mhm.
believe,
Oh, yeah.
and that it's been said many times that if they can keep people at each other's throats, they never actually turn around and look and see who's in charge and find a united front, but they have to keep things contentious. But I think that 99% of
Right.
people would never do that. Like they don't care, but
Yeah.
it's been forced and forced and forced and ground into people that
Mhm.
now it's become so polarizing. And so, like I said, I love nothing more than an equal opportunity offender. Like if you're gonna make fun of one person, make fun of me, make fun of them.
Get
Everyone
it
needs to be
across the
made fun
board,
of.
baby.
I would,
Get it
I
across the
would,
board.
yeah,
It's all
exactly.
even.
Like
It's
it's
all
got to be
even.
even because then
Right.
if it's like, well, we're not going to talk about one thing. It's like, well, there's favoritism, and then it gets a whole big thing. So I love what you do. I love anyone who like tries to say hilarious things about my race or gender or whatever. It's like I think it's hilarious. I never give
Hey,
a shit about
man.
anything, but some
It's the
people aren't like
bridge.
that.
It's the
Yeah,
bridge. Well, here's the irony of the whole thing to me. You know, it's the fact that we couldn't stay away from each other that we're different colors.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Right.
If we're on
Right.
a cliff, you know, overlooking the cliff, and there's a river between us, and there's another clan that's a whole nother color. The guys say those girls look hot, man. Those
yeah.
those 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 brown girls look hot, you know. And the white ones say, well, they'll say, hey, man, those white girls over there, they look hot, you know. So it's like that's how we got this way,
Sure.
you
That's
know.
it.
So
Great.
and so
Point.
that's the most beautiful thing that we have has a race can turn around, and that was
Yeah.
the attraction of us,
Yeah. Now,
and the capacity of that mix of that mixing to produce loving communities,
Yeah.
and
absolutely.
and so we're so far out of that history wise that we forget that was the deal.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Tommy, to go back to something that I don't know if Bo finds this annoying, but I'm not. I mean, I'm in radio, but I'm not in the acting. And Bo and I have kind of merged and done some things. We're doing some things together, and I've seen the slow process, which I'm not used to. But seeing it and appreciating it, and like, oh my gosh, it does take a special person to be in this entertainment industry as far as actors and comedians. There's a lot of bravery with comedians, but I always
it's
find,
it's 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 a job, boy.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna cut out for it to be honest, but what I was going to ask you though, when you go from at one point being found under a tire in a pile of trash to on the this huge blockbuster of a show, what was that like, and what was your first big splurge? I always find that fascinating. I think it also tells a little bit about the person, at least at that time. What was your like when you get that big check from Fox, the first big check? Like, what'd you do with it?
I actually got held back during that period by my business manager, a brother too. He was like, "You're gonna not like me, because that check is coming, and I'm gonna ask you certain things to do with it, you know." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And he said, "One, you're gonna buy a, you're gonna buy a foreclosure property, and
Oh.
not from a real estate company. Two, you're gonna find a car that you love, but you're gonna rent it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And three, you don't need a whole lot of new clothes. So just go to rehearsal and wear the costumes and wear the stuff you got, and then just kick around in your stuff. And if you can do that, then you're in for one hell of a great career." And I did it.
Yeah.
He said it's going to bother the hell out of you because after the first and second season, everybody's going to be buying new cars and they're going to have that stuff. And I'm going to ask you to not do that. If you ain't doing it now, don't do it then, and just
Okay.
focus on your work.
Good idea. Yeah. It's great.
And it was tough.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was tough. I think the only splurge I had was like food or something,
Yeah.
or just stuff like that. But like you know, to celebrate, I got me some Captain Crunch peanut butter because that's my favorite. You know, yeah.
It's a good gift.
Did
I'm
not
like, hey,
expect
man,
that.
I got a whole box to myself. You know what I mean? But I kept it really simple, you know, and not to perfection, you know, because I didn't really understand at the time, you know, the value of things because your economic situation changes.
Yeah.
So I go and say, oh, you know, you can afford this watch or whatever, and I buy the watch, you know, and I'll be like, okay, this is worth something, and blah 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 blah. But then it was like a watch,
Sure.
you know. I'm
Right.
like, you know,
So
what am I going to
that
wear it
obviously
what am I going to wear it at the bar? You know, just going, hey, baby, you know, how you doing?
right.
Oh, look
You
at
know,
that. Oh, this old thing? Yeah.
So that definitely played a part in your longevity, then, Tommy.
oh, this whole thing, right,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
it's that was
Oh,
forever.
60,000.
right.
Yeah.
You mean that? You know, no, man, this is alien. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
What are you talking about? Yeah.
right.
So that played a big role in your longevity, then, obviously, because it set you with the infrastructure for the dry seasons potentially. But not only that, it allowed you the freedom to say no to certain things. I'm sure, and I think
Yeah,
that's a lot of
man.
things with acting. And
Yeah.
so I'm sure with comedy, it's like you're almost judged more by what you don't do than what
Mhm.
you do. And so like if you don't do X amount of things purposely because you have an idea in your mind how it should look and how it should play
Mhm.
out, that's what keep you going steady. But see, most people that I know, I'm sure you know too,
Hey,
they
man.
get in the industry, they have some rips, and then before you know it, now they're taking something they don't want to do, they don't like the character, and they have to do it for a long time because they just need the money. And now it's like, oh, it's done. You know, you shot yourself in the foot.
I've done that one time.
Let's hear
One
it.
time. Yeah. It was like one of those ghost shows.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you're like, I saw a real ghost, you know.
Oh, yeah.
The money was good. You know, it was like, and all I gotta do is like act like I seen a ghost, you know. So
I heard
so
something.
yeah. But then I find out that there's this huge audience for that, you know.
Yeah.
And people were hitting me up on the internet going, that happened to me, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like saying to myself, who am I to say it didn't? You know?
Yeah.
But what woke me up was I was on the set doing acting, doing my stuff, you know, and the director had me on camera and I'm going, you know, yeah, I saw it here and this, that, and the other thing. And he went, cut, you know, I need a little more passion from you, man. I need you to yeah, I'm like, dude, you're not Scorsese, man. It's not like we're not making The Godfather here.
This is his
Like,
breakout role as a director. He's like,
yeah,
this is it. I got one shot.
you know, I'm not seeing tears, man. You know, we hired you for this thing. I'm like, oh my God, like this isn't like you know, what is this glory?
Yeah.
You know. So the only regret I had was that, you
That
know,
show?
that no, well, just the fact that I went into a situation where
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't being genuine to what
Authentic,
I
yeah.
actually do as a craft,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
And he woke me up to that because he's going, man, I don't see it, man. I'm not believing you, man. You know
Well,
what I
I
mean?
know we're a
That's
little
bad
short.
directing in general. Just to like give a note as to
Yeah,
how
too
you could
much.
get that person to get where you want. Not like, I
Yeah,
don't like it. And then it's like,
right.
anyway.
So, Tommy, we're a little short on time, but we appreciate your time with us. First of all, let's remind people he's going to be at the Comedy Zone in Greensboro this week, Thursday through
Great
Sunday.
club. Great club. One of my
Yes.
favorites. And I'm not
Yep.
just saying that. You talk about
And
some people that love to laugh.
100%. And
Maybe
Bo and
because
I
there's
will be
stones
there.
behind me. There's like stones. There's a stone wall.
There are stones. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Stone
So I
Wall,
can't
yeah.
go nowhere. Okay.
That's right. You're locked in for 4 days.
Right.
Bo and I are going to be there on Saturday, so we're excited
You
to see
are?
you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
DJs, morning DJs usually don't come because by Saturday they're experiencing sleep woke. Sleep woke
Yeah.
is when you're woke and you sleep at the same time and it looks like this, you know. Hey, you're going to staff meeting? Yeah. Where, you know, what time? Are you going to son's basketball game? Yeah. Saturday. What? Yeah, I'm driving over there right now.
Just a
Bo asked me,
glaze.
he's like, "Why are you so serious?" Like, I'm not serious. I'm tired. Like
I'm
sometimes
I'm
if it's
asleep.
yeah, if it's 3
I'm
o'clock in the
sleepwalking.
afternoon here, I've been up since 3. So
Yeah,
3 a.m. But
I'm awake
we're
but asleep.
excited about
Just, hey, how's it going? Yeah, officer, what?
it.
You know.
Oh man.
It's going to be a treat for anyone who can see it. And then, what are some other things, real quick, that you want to let people know that you're involved in? They can check you out in, or your website for other show dates. Obviously as well.
Yeah, if you want to get my show dates, is thetommydavidson.com. That's simple. I got a new television show coming up on BET where I hooked up with Martin Lawrence, and I'm doing a series about a late night talk show. I'm doing a television show about a late night talk show that's really a late night talk show. And I'm using one of the characters from Martin's episodes. We did a double episode there. And we're going in September. It's called the Varnell Hill Show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's it filming at?
35 years in the making. Because me and Martin came out here about the same time. Yeah.
Wow. Where are you guys shooting that in LA, or are y'all shooting that somewhere else?
Yeah, shooting
You
in
know?
LA. Shooting in LA.
A lot of things don't shoot out there anymore, I mean, I think everything's kind of like fleeing, but it's good to see there's some things still shooting in LA. I hear a couple shows still shooting there, a few movies, but it's kind of all over now.
Yeah. It's still the hub. It's
Yeah,
still
it
the
is.
hub of Hollywood. But there's another force in the universe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that force is streaming.
Yeah.
That force is phone entertainment. So
Yeah.
so that I guess that enclave that we had,
Yeah.
for Hollywood,
A little more open up now.
appears to not be there. But here's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
We need Hollywood too.
Yeah, for sure.
People need a place to look to. I mean, when I saw The Grapes of Wrath, I was like, first of all, I was like, I ain't know white people's poor. And then the second one was,
Oh yeah.
that
Oh
that
yeah.
and Wizard
There
of
are
Oz,
a lot
that
of
and the Wizard
poor
of Oz,
white
I was
people.
like, yeah, that and the Wizard of Oz, I was like, Dorothy's people are broke. So
And they're right.
Yeah, what is going on, man? But all of those movies led to dreams of being better in the future.
Yeah.
And have a better life in the future.
Yeah.
Even though Star Wars is, long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, man, to know that someone can create something that says there's a force and it's good.
Yeah.
We need that. We need that reach there.
Absolutely.
It was a good idea when the guy came up with the idea, said, how do we not pay actors? Just get regular people.
Yeah.
It saves a lot. It saves a lot of money, but things got a little bit too real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we need to have some things go floating by us, and it's through those things that we get to that next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's well put, and because I think if you're in the industry and you're making money and you're and if it's gonna be art things that if you have a choice that more of a choice of the things you want to do, I think it's a beautiful thing. But for me as an outsider, when I hear, hey, I'm going to Hollywood, there is that mystique and magic to it. And no offense to other things, because these are great hubs too. They're popping up, but it was like, hey, I'm filming in Atlanta. I'm like, I've been there. It doesn't have the mystique. Now, would I take a job there? Yes. Does the end product look the same? Yes. But it's like there is a mystique to me as an outsider about Hollywood.
Yeah.
And like, that's the goal. And maybe Hollywood is more a symbol of all these places, but of making this type of art. But to me, it just, even as a physical place, it just sounds like Bo was in LA last week and talking to different managers and people in Hollywood. And that was a lot cooler than his stories when he's in Atlanta. I'm like, all right, that's fine. But
no, you're right. You're absolutely right. No, there is mystique about it. There is like this. It's a very special place. Every time I go out there, because it is still the hub in the sense of everything originates there. But even if we film in Atlanta or Virginia or Florida, is casted out of Los Angeles. The executives are out of Los Angeles. The studios out of Los Angeles. Their main hub. But they can shoot all over the place now. So it's absolutely needed. It's paramount importance to keep that.
It's needed. It's a very central and an eclectic part of our American experience. To go somewhere where we can make a difference in our lives and other people's lives. Yeah. Hey, I want to be in the dairy business. You go to Wisconsin, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just there's good. It's good to have a destination to anchor a dream. You know, I want to play football. There's the NFL.
Yep.
I want to be an artist. We'll check out David. You know what I mean? It's the journeys.
Sure.
And we've been really, really lucky to be able to complete journeys.
Yeah.
Because our borders aren't like international borders. We're in a United State. We are in a United State.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
And I just want to end with one final question unless Bo has something. One of us.
Yes, I love Pop-Tarts. Okay, no.
That was the question.
Yeah, that was it. Okay. Now, between Bo and I, one of us is a paid model. Can you pick which one is the paid model?
Yeah, you.
Thank you. That's what I thought. I didn't say what I modeled, but yeah, you're smart. Tommy, it's seriously, this is like a big deal for me. Like, I just love
Just
living.
tell me it ain't Speedos, okay? We'll be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
No, he models Astroglide. He's the poster.
I'm testifying at the Diddy trial next week. I don't want to talk about it.
Jared's number's up, man. Jared's number got called. He's going.
It works, though. It works. But anyway, Tommy, you the man. Happy for you.
Awesome.
Looking forward to seeing you this weekend, but also the Sammy Davis project and all these other projects. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and thank you.
Man, thank you, man. Yeah, every day with the sun. Every day with the sun, good.
Yeah, it was a little cloudy last week when I was out there midweek.
Yeah, every day with the sun, good.
Yeah, sun good. You're the man, Tommy. Thanks so much. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday,
man.
dude. I know you'll bring your A game. I'm bringing. Absolutely, I'm bringing my wife. Jared's bringing his girl.
Come on.
The week.
Okay. Well, you guys are in Vietnam too. Okay, cool. Come on.
I love Anna. I'm kidding, Jared.
Yeah, she may not be there. You never know. All right. Well, Tommy, enjoy your 4-year-old. We both have 4-year-olds. We'll get back to it, but appreciate your time for real. Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy.
Hey, man. Thanks for the love, guys. Keep it going, man.
Absolutely. Keep crushing it.
Peace. We all live in this yellow submarine still, so we're good.
Oh, yeah. It's good, buddy. It's good.
All right. Have a good day,
Thanks.
y'all.
See you.
You too. Thank you.